You like spy movies, Mr. DeVille? When I was a kid, that was my dream job. Gentleman spy.
So hi Colin, welcome to Shortlist.com. So in Kingsman, we see you involved in quite a lot of complicated fight scenes. And it's not something we're used to seeing you do that often. In reality, if faced with a fight, where on the spectrum are you compared to Bridget Jones to kind of Kingsman?
Bridget Jones. Bridget Jones was the reality, I'm afraid. And in fact, when we were rehearsing that fight, when Hugh Grant and I were rehearsing the fight, we had a stuntman there, and he was talking about how to sell a punch and how to throw someone. And we thought, how would we know how to do any of this? You know, the last fight we had was in the playground, and the fight should look like that. You know, two very angry but utterly terrified, cowardly men who want to hurt each other but don't want to get hurt. And so we just made it up, really. So I think that is absolutely the reality. And as you can see in this film, there's very little in this film that's plausible in Kingsman. It's in the spirit of mischief and silliness, really. So this was something I had to train a lot for, but it's a dance rather than a fight. I think I'd be absolutely hopeless in a real fight.
Then let me teach you a lesson.
Has it sort of whet your appetite for more action films? Can we see you in Taken 3, Taken 4 even?
I'd be up for it. It has whet my appetite to do more physical stuff because I think I've neglected that side of things. You know, I've basically done as much middle-aged actor training as, you know, just to try to stave off the ravages of age and gravity, but nothing on this scale. And I had no idea that I was going to warm to it quite as much as I did. I don't quite know where I'm going to find it unless I do another film like this, because it's not learning to fight and it's not conventionally learning to dance. It's somewhere in the middle of the two. But I just enjoyed the physicality of it, and being part of a team of people doing that stuff.
So you're peak fitness now, you think?
It's been a year since since the film stopped, so I think I crossed over the peak. But I was certainly at the peak of my own fitness when we shot this film. Yeah.
So the Golden Globes happened recently, and you were involved in Tina and Amy's Would You Rather game. Did you feel objectified or honoured?
Deeply hurt by objectification. No, I thought that was a brilliant stroke, actually, because I think they were, you know, the stereotypical thing of the man playing that game about the girls. I think it was great to see them flipping that around.
So you're kind of known for playing sort of characters with kind of who are quite well spoken, you know, as you are. How are you with regional accents? Like, what's your sort of Brummy accent like?
My Brummy accent wouldn't be very good at all, actually. If I've spent a bit of time in Birmingham, I can come back with a passable pastiche. But I grew up in a Hampshire comprehensive school, and so a lot of my upbringing was West Country accent. So this isn't how I spoke as a kid. So I grew up with a very pronounced regional accent.
You kind of deliberately got rid of it over the years?
Well, no, my parents didn't. My parents, you know, sounded BBC. They sounded, I suppose, more or less the way I speak now. And so it was the conflict between home and school. But your school is always a bigger influence, famously, than your home life on the way you speak. I mean, if you have English parents, you go to a French school, your French is going to be better than your English. So you pick it up, you spend more time with your peers. So that's the accent I developed without being able to help it. And but then, as you know, as I left that behind, and then you go to drama school, and they try to, certainly my generation of drama school, they try to standardize you with RP. So I reverted then back to my native RP.
One final question, the Oscars are coming up soon. You're a previous winner. Who are you sort of backing this year?
You know, I'm not going to say. I've got too many sort of mates in the game to declare a preference. And actually, I would be conflicted anyway. But I think our own Brits are very, very worthy candidates, really. I think Eddie and Benedict are both incredibly deserving.
Well, best of luck with the film. Nice to meet you.
What about him? What makes him so special?
Put it back.